We all love the Low Country lifestyle, which is why we should do our best to protect it. To get insurance that helps you protect your home from whatever the Low Country throws at you, contact CT Lowndes and Company today. Their local agents can review your coverage to help make sure you're properly protected. CT Lowndes and Company has been helping protect and insuring the Low Country since 1850. Visit ctlowndes.com to learn more and request a quote. That's CTLOWNDES.com.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Sugar, oh honey, honey.
Okay, so before I even say my name or say who you are, music choice. What do you like? What do you think? Like it? Don't like it?
You always surprise me. That was Sugar, and I believe that was by the Archies, an old classic song. I don't know if it's 50s, 60s. It just kind of goes to show you that people's musical tastes do not change. That was bubblegum pop for the 50s. And it was a crappy song, and I think it was the #1 song that year. So just like people still like the Justin Biebers and the other stuff nowadays, it's been the same. It never changes.
It's pretty odd you know that much about a song that I chose that you didn't know about.
Well, it's just I'm a musical genius, as I have been described.
That is true. What's going on? I'm Chris Donovan. This is We Should Be Better at This. That guy, Derek.
I am. That is true. That is a true statement. I'm Eric, and we definitely should be better at this. And welcome back for another week of our glorious podcast where we essentially sum up all the reasons we should be better at just about everything in life.
And if you heard the last podcast, I'm actually an engineer in a sense of audio-wise, and I'm supposed to be like really good at this stuff. Yeah, that didn't happen so much.
No. You pretend that was all planned. I hope everyone liked our practical joke of Chris's microphone not working correctly. That was all planned, 100%.
100% it was planned. Anyway, how you been, Eric, man? How you
I've
doing?
been all right. I literally just moments ago, literally 15 minutes before we hop on this air, just got a flu shot. Have you and your family gotten the flu shot this year?
I actually have never had a flu shot before. My family has, my wife does get my kids their flu shots, but I've never had one. So I think being that I'm 40 years old, if I was to get one now, I'd probably die.
You'd probably would kill you. But, I've never been a flu shot guy myself. I only started getting them about 2 years ago. About 2 or 3 years ago, I got the flu, the worst I'd ever had, and I thought I was dying.
Like straight up influenza? Like straight up influenza?
Like the Spanish flu that killed half the world's population. Like I got it so bad, and I'm not a guy who goes to the doctor, and I just was asking my wife, forget the doctor, take me to ICU, I think I'm dying, this is the end, get out my will and testament, tell the kids I love them. I thought I was dead, so I thought, I'm going to go ahead and start getting this flu shot. What was really odd, though, is, this just goes to show you the difference in my two daughters. My youngest daughter, Josephine, is a little bit more morbid, a little bit more...
Your daughter?
Yeah, definitely my daughter. Audrey is just smooth and suave, but she's also really nervous and jittery about stuff like that. And we announced that we were taking the whole family out to get flu shots. And we tried doing it the other night. And they always say with Obamacare, it's so easy. You just walk in and get it. Bullshit. But we tried walking into the local pharmacy here where they claimed they were giving out free ones. My oldest daughter was crying. She didn't want to go. She's so scared of the needle. My youngest daughter was cheering. Josephine was cheering, excited to go get a shot, so much so she grabbed alcohol wipes and was cleaning her arm beforehand so she could say it was clean before the lady touches it. She was all excited to get it. It was hilarious. We wound up not being able to get the shot because for some reason no one wanted to give children the shot, which I find odd. And today I went back and just got it on my own. But we literally just drove around town. I'm like the worst father ever, driving around trying to find someone who will inject my children.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it. But all that rigmarole that you just said, I'm so glad I'm not a part of that. My wife takes my kids and does her thing, and she always tells me, you need a flu shot. And I'm like, nah, I'm good.
She got the flu.
She got the flu really bad when she was pregnant with my son.
And that's dangerous.
10 years ago.
That's really dangerous too when they're that pregnant. Yeah.
ER, admitted to the hospital on my daughter's. It was my oldest daughter's like 7th birthday party, and it was a dance party, and it was raining outside, so I had to move the dance party inside. All while I'm at the hospital with my wife. So I'm like, I've got uncles and aunts and everybody like moving couches and adjusting things just so we could have this dance party where I make every kid cry. Because musical chairs is a bad idea for 6-year-olds.
You know, not to get off topic too far, but one time, I always remember, anytime someone says musical chairs, one time when Audrey was younger, she was about 5 years old. She was playing musical chairs at some street party. I think it was like a 4th of July street party. And she was playing with all the bigger kids, but she wanted to be a part of the bigger kids.
All right.
And they were playing musical chairs, and she was down to the last one. And this kid that was probably like 13 years old, and he's a big beefy kid. And they kind of fought for that last chair in musical chairs. And Audrey stood her ground, knocked this kid down, and the kid wound up spraining his ankle. And I think chipping a tooth because he fell like in the street. They were playing it in the street.
That's amazing.
And she just sat there, and she was like 5 years old, and she just kind of looked and like, well, you know, you shouldn't have tangled with me, kind of a thing. It was great.
That's definitely your child.
Yeah, they're definitely my child. You know, a lot of stuff going on in the news. I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on some stuff. You know, we're not really a political show. We don't really do politics here, but with stuff going on in politics right now, Supreme Court nominee being going through all of that, I would never want to go through anything like that in a public setting. What a horrible experience to go through. But something that came to mind as I saw what was going on, you know, current nominee Brett Kavanaugh, you know, the Democrats are trying to stall, so they don't want Trump to appoint a nominee. Okay, so they're going to do any stall tactic they can, and it's always gone on in politics. It's standard stuff.
Okay.
But what they're doing now is they waited till the vote was about to be cast, and then they brought up a 40-year-old accusation. And it is literally just that. It is just an accusation. There is no provable facts. There's never a police report. It's 40 years old, and it's hearsay. It's just, oh, we heard this rumor from 40 years ago that at a party you kind of forced yourself on this girl. You were both drunk and you forced yourself. Even though there is no corroborating evidence and no witnesses that are corroborating anything. In fact, witnesses have said the opposite. Oh, I don't remember that at all. In fact, I don't even remember him at that party. But it's enough to damage a person. And it got me thinking. What would you trust the media if they were reporting on something from your past? And just knowing that we kind of grew up, you and I grew up in an era where we were young enough before the internet, before Twitter, before everything, but yet we were young enough to kind of still embrace the whole social media and the internet and everything like that. We are in a unique position to comment on this because I can imagine you and I know I did, get away with a lot of stuff before social media could have came crashing down on us. And it just would, if let's say you were running for something really important and the media were digging into your past, would you trust them on how your story would be interpreted and reported?
The activities associated with the governance. Sorry, I was looking up the definition of politics. Anyway,
I know I could spell it for you too. If you want.
Would I trust them? I have this ongoing battle with my 15-year-old daughter who is, you know, of course, wrapped up into everything, you know, Snapchat, Instagram. The internet. She thinks chemtrails are real. I have no idea if they are or not. But what I can say is I constantly have this conversation with her saying everything on the internet is fake. Every single thing out there is fake. Now, if you want to believe something, do your investigating. Go look it up. Don't just do it on the internet. Look up other places. Go to a library. Just do some research before you 100% stand behind what you think is real or not, because people just put their best foot forward, like social media with the filters, politics with the angle of the story. I mean, news with the angle of the story. Everybody's clickbait. Like, I get alerts so much on my phone saying 3 people shot, car accident here, high-speed chase. I constantly am getting all that crap, and it's just another way for people to click. So would I trust the internet with my past? No. But if I was being up for, I don't know, political office of some sort, which might happen down the road if you're my campaign manager, that I would be able to look at my wife or my family or my friends, and I could look at them and be like, that's bullshit. I know 100% that's not true, because I've always had this feeling or a kind of motto. But I don't have to prove anything to anyone. Like, if I know it's real or wrong and they think it's opposite, I don't give a shit. I don't care. You don't have to believe me.
But you could see a point though where it affects your life, and no matter how much your family believes you, you get enough people at school teasing your daughter about something that rumored that your dad did, and she comes home and no matter how much she believes in dad, she's gonna start thinking differently. Same thing with your wife. You have someone coming out and saying nasty things about you. She can only defend you for so long without starting to think, oh, I'm tired of. I'm just thinking that we live in a world, and I think especially with the hashtag Me Too movement, which is a good thing. I mean, as the father of daughters, we definitely as a culture need to change our attitudes and perceptions and how we treat some accusations from women and all that. And I think that a lot of that is good, but there's a lot of stuff that you don't anticipate, right? Like what do they call it? Collateral damage that comes. And as every man can tell you, and to all female listeners out there who might not understand this as a concept, every man, and I mean, both of them, every man,
your wife and my wife.
Yeah, exactly. No, my wife doesn't listen. Was she crazy?
I know, right?
Whether you're 85 years old or 18 years old, every male in America, and maybe throughout the world, has the same fear. And that fear could be summed up by that movie, what was it with Alicia Silverstone, where she accuses the guy of rape. God, what was that movie?
I don't know. Let me look it up.
Do you remember that? Not Cruel Intent. I'm thinking of the wrong one. I think it's called Fear. Yes, with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah. That's Fear. That's Reese Witherspoon.
Okay. So that whole thing is every male in America's worst fear, where you're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs, doing nothing, and all it takes is one woman to say, he touched me inappropriately, he did something inappropriately, and it's just a he said, she said, and it will always be more believed what the woman says than the man denying it. There's no way to prove your innocence. Every male in America has the same fear, and it just worries me that as we go down this rabbit hole of the hashtag Me Too movement, that there's really no good way for a man in that situation to defend himself. Because if you say something bad about the accuser, you look like you're attacking her. And if you just deny it, they say, oh, well, of course you're denying it. And there's this rush to believe every word out of an accuser's mouth. And we've reached the point of you're guilty until proven innocent now, as opposed to the other way around. And that I find that troubling. Whether you believe this whole story in the news or not, that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm just saying in general, we got to kind of go back to giving people the fair shake, because it's a big fear I have of just being accused of something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree that there is the accusations are instant guilt now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a really unique situation with this because I worked for a large company that does and works with a lot of entertainment people, and we were doing a project with one of the people that were accused. Now, did we instantly say, oh my God, he's guilty, blah, blah? No, but did we distance ourselves a little bit? Yeah, of course we did. I mean, as a company,
and it's a real shame because what if, and this is the situation, this is the scenario that I wish everyone would take a moment and pause with. What if, you always have to ask yourself, what if this accusation is untrue? And then you have to look at it from the standpoint of, if it's untrue, that means people are lying with the intent of ruining someone's life, ruining their career, and I mean, if it's untrue, you got to kind of look the other way, which is like, man, that's a really big deal to be that harsh, where you're going to be like, hey, I'm going to ruin this person's family life, ruin how his friends see him, ruin his career, and maybe just crumble him financially, all because I'm holding a grudge. And I'm not saying every accusation is. I mean, we really do need to do a better job of doing this, of looking at this, but. Every male is worried about getting accused falsely, and I think we're in a time now where you can't even defend yourself.
No, it's why it's really nice to be married right now and not have to worry about dating and any of that crap.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Yeah, I feel the same way. How the hell would I be able to date? I have no game. My game is, hey, you look pretty. You want to go have sex? That's about the extent of my pickup lines. And so I'm really glad. Yeah, exactly.
You added the first part.
I really did. Yeah, I know. I have learned over the years. My wife has made me improve. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not in the dating pool right now. Yeah. That'd be horrible.
But let's be honest. And this isn't a light issue. That's why we're not going to talk about it long. But back when social media started, nobody knew what was going on. What was it? MySpace? Friendster?
Yes.
Like, I went on a cruise in 2002, and I was like, hey, you got Friendster? Hey, I got MySpace. You got MySpace? And then for the next 2 years, it turned into a dating app. That's all MySpace was. It was like, who's in your top 8? And I changed my top 8 to be like, that week's taste. Or, I would do all sorts of really not mean things online, but I would do all sorts of weird things on this, not knowing what the hell it was. And I was meeting, and of course I was, working at radio stations, so I had a little bit more activity online than some people. But yeah, I mean, like anything. I mean, somebody could take something I put on MySpace 20 years ago and be like, "Remember when you posted that?" I'll be like, "Nope." But I'm not in trouble for it.
We had talked about this in a previous podcast where we talked about some of these athletes that had gotten in trouble for things they posted 15 years ago as a dumb teenager, and people screenshot it or they grab it and they use it against you 15, 20 years later. And so I just remember the good old days. Remember when it was Facebook and Tom just wanted to be your friend, and there was no politics on there, and there was no false headlines, and there was no Russian meddling, and there was no bots, and there was no nothing. It was just Tom who wanted to be your friend. That was it.
100%, and then now he doesn't want to be your friend anymore. He's traveling the world.
Yeah, he's traveling the world. I want to switch. I want to switch gears a little bit. I have something coming up, and I wanted to ask you your thoughts on it. I'm taking my wife to a concert. We actually have a lot of concerts coming up, but one in particular, I'm taking her to that. I'm excited to go because one of the things we're going to see is kind of interesting. But I'm taking her to a concert that I'm really not interested in, and I wanted to ask you if you have ever had to do the good dad or good husband thing and go to a concert that really wasn't your jam. You just did. What'd you do?
This last weekend we went to the iHeartRadio Music Festival in Las Vegas. Now, it's a concert. It's lots of different genres. Usually it's a little bit heavier on the pop because it's younger kids that come to the daytime festival since it's outside. Like younger as in like 15, 16, 17. We take the whole family. We take all the kids. Now, every year the lineup's pretty good. Like I think the first year we went, it was Cage the Elephant was represented.
Oh, good.
We had Cold War Kids was one year in Jonah and the Lion. Judah and the Lion.
Judah and the Lion. Yeah.
Judah and the Lion. So we've always had a good representation of alternative rock. Even Demi Lovato and Alessia Cara do the like I want to say female male, but like are harder pop artists when they're live. So most of the time, and I say most of the time as we've gone the last 4 years in a row, there's been a representation of alternative rock. This year, nothing. Like the most, I think, Grandson was the biggest representation. We had Greta Van Fleet, but she was not good. And then 5 Seconds of Summer was on the bill. So every single person in Logic.
But see, none of those. Yeah, see, I see what you're saying because none of those really stand out as something where I'd be like, oh, I mean, even when you said Cage the Elephant and stuff like that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'd go to that. That's kind of cool. Nothing you mentioned just now would be one that I'm interested in going to.
Last year, Panic at the Disco closed. I'm like, okay, cool. I get them to close. It was great. Like I had a good time. I got my flavor. My daughter got her flavor. My wife got her flavor. My little ones got their flavor. But this year, I was left out. So, now mine's a little different because it's a festival. We do it every year for my wife's birthday and all that good stuff. But yeah. I'm not a fan of going to these things and not.
And, and then it's just a hassle of going to. I mean, let's face it, going to a concert is a hassle. For all the enjoyment you get out of it, the parking, how much the tickets cost, and maybe it's just me being a cheapskate, but the entire time I'm watching the show, I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm not getting my $80 worth or whatever. The concessions, all of the hassle, the trying to get out of the parking lot at the end of the night, all of those hassles. So if you do it, we went to an awesome show about a month ago. We went and saw Weezer and the Pixies, and I took my wife and my oldest daughter Audrey. We had an absolute blast. It was a fun time, and even that, it took so long to get out of the parking lot. It was so miserable that it was a fun night, but an exhausting night. Yeah. So in about 2 weeks, I'm taking my wife to go see Boy George with Culture Club.
Okay. Oh, hold on.
The Thompson Twins.
They're still alive?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
No, it gets better. It's only one of the twins. It's one Thompson
Are those the ones with the long blonde hair from like
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Good God.
I can't remember the other band and the band that she really wants to see, the B-52s. Now, I mean, I'm into the B-52s. I can watch them. That's fun. You kind of stand up, you dance a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. No. I could say honestly that there will be probably 5 or 6 B-52 songs that I'll probably dig. But you got to remember, that's one of like 4 bands that are playing, and even then I'm only lukewarm on them. The other 3 I'm completely not interested in, but I'm doing it to be the good husband thing, and I'm not really looking forward to it. Oh, and to make it worse, it's at the Greek Theater, which if people don't know, in Southern California, it is one of the worst parking situation theaters that you could go to in California.
Yeah, I recommend Ubering or taking your taxi or walking, but
I think we're going to park down the road and then take an Uber just like the mile up to the theater.
Yeah, this is an interesting lineup you're going to here, man. Like that's.
Are you sure you don't want to go in my place? Do you want to go to see Boy George and Culture Club close the show?
No, but if you don't dress up like Boy George,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
or the dude from The Wedding Singer.
Oh my God. That's what's funny you say wedding singer, because that's what I've been thinking of ever since I booked those tickets. Because, in a couple weeks after that, I'm going to see Social Distortion and Rancid and a bunch of stuff. And then later on, we're seeing Brian Setzer put on his Christmas show, which is going to be awesome, taking the whole family. And then we're going to see, I got all these pretty cool concerts coming up. But on October 3rd, I will be sitting, not even close, in the back row to see Boy George, Culture Club, the Thompson Twins, some other band I can't remember.
The Thompson twin.
Thompson.
There's only one of them. The apostrophe's on the back side of the S. Well, I don't envy you for one, but I can say that hopefully you'll be secretly surprised, because I've been to I did a cover band one time. It was like a cover. It was like Elton John, David Bowie, and God, name some other British dude. Anyway.
British dude.
I went
the name of the band. British dude.
There was only one of them though. It was British dude with a. No, I'm just kidding. Bad joke. Anyway, so I went to that concert and I sat there and it was like, okay, cool. I know some Elton John songs. Well, it ended up being one of the better concerts I ever went to, even though they were covers, but people like impersonating. But it was the fact that I was like, oh, I know this song. Oh, I know this song. So hopefully maybe you'll get a.
You're really trying to butter me up. I think we all know that the real answer to this is no. I'm going to be miserable.
I hope so.
Yeah. You know what? Secretly, I kind of hope so too. Because then, if my wife really, really knows I'm miserable, I think I earn tons of points for going. Not only going, but paying, driving, buying her concessions, buying her the shirt that she'll want. Like all of those things, I better earn some serious points on this one.
So what you're saying is you're doing this just to get laid.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, good to know.
Now that we've established that, let's move on to a little bit of sports. I'm pretty excited because Tiger Woods is back, y'all. We talked about it last time. We asked the question, is Tiger Woods back? He answered with a resounding, yes, I am. He went out and won the PGA Tour Championship, which is kind of exciting. I'm not a huge golf guy, but I got to admit, when Tiger is on and he's kicking ass, it's pretty exciting and fun to watch. And he had this great moment where he was walking to make the final shot, and he had probably 3,000 people walking behind him like he was the leader of a parade, and they all just stood around. I think everyone had a sigh of relief that Tiger Woods is back. I think it's good for golf. I just think it's good for any sport when you have the best who's ever done it back to doing it.
I agree, but with those thousands of people that were following him, how many of them were his hookers?
Well, that was almost all of them. But, but now I think everyone, what's funny is with this whole, since it came out, all the stuff he did with the Me Too movement and all that, I think people are okay with him using hookers because they're like, well, at least it was consensual.
Yeah, well,
remember all the heat he took? Now we're looking back at that going, well, he just paid these women for sex. At least it was consensual. It's not that bad.
He made $9 million this weekend.
Yeah. Isn't that
great?
great?
Was the purse. For who? I want, give me like $1 million, Tiger.
I would
give $1 billion.
$1,000 over the weekend.
I spent that much in beer at the concert this last weekend, so I could use that $9,000.
Yes, oh my God. Well, yeah, it was just funny that we discussed on the last episode, then he went out and did it, which was pretty cool. I also wanted to ask your thoughts on the NFL so far. We got the Patriots just sucking and struggling. Jimmy Garoppolo is hurt, and which I'm sure you're excited about too. And the one thing that's really bugging me and that's given me frustrations with football over the last few years, this tackling rule is ruining football. Another bad call yesterday with Clay Matthews making what looked like the most innocent tackle ever and getting a pretty important penalty in the game. The week before, the penalty actually cost them the game.
Change the whole
and what's frustrating to me is you now have it to where the quarterback can't get hit below the waist, can't have his legs. You can't hit him above the chest, and you can't accidentally, inadvertently even, hit him in the head with like your arm or your finger or your hands. There's literally a strip around his belly button that is the only place that you're allowed to tackle a quarterback. And if you manage to tackle that quarterback around the belly button, you then can't fall on him.
It's true. You can't put you have to make it look like you're trying not to drive him into the ground.
How do you have a 250-pound filled with muscle guy who's been blocked, who is trying to break through a 300-pound guy, finally get to the quarterback at full speed, and you try to take him down, and then you, somehow in midair, like roll off of him? I don't even understand how it's physically possible.
Yeah, you don't. And I think that the problem right now is it's like, it's kind of like just affirmative action, it feels like, in a sense. I don't even know if that's the right term I'm using because it's early on a Monday and I have to drive to work. Anyway, there should be levels of penalties, like different level of like, okay, well, he did, but he's 300 pounds. He's trying not to drive him into the ground. He was trying to come up. So let it be a 5-yard penalty or just a 10-yard penalty where you play it down, or rather than it being these extravagant halfway to the goal line or 15-yard personal penalty, you're warned now if you do it again, you're going to get kicked out. I think there should be levels of severity to it all because you're right. It's like you can't.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Monetizing digital services since 2004. Boosting the entertainment industry by making digital content accessible for everyone. AWG. Where innovation meets monetization.
You can't stop yourself halfway through a motion of jumping forward. Like you're jumping, you're going to hit somebody. It's going to be 300 pounds of me.
Let's go ahead and ask. Let's go ahead and ask like during the Olympics, the triple jump for the guy to jump once, twice, but on the second one he can't go forward. He has to propel himself backwards for the third jump. I mean, that's essentially what we're asking these people to do. Plow through that 350-pound guy, get underneath that arm tackle where he's trying to rip your face mask off, duck underneath that with all your momentum carrying you forward, and you've been sprinting at this high rate of speed. Now hit a guy, but as soon as you hit him, jump backwards so that you don't land on him. It's ruining the game. It's basically turning football into basketball, which basketball to me has become almost unwatchable because run up the court, foul. Run back down the court, foul. Run back up the court, foul. And it's just it became almost unwatchable. And I think the same thing is happening with football where it's like, oh, great, another foul that's going to affect the game that no one at home is clamoring for. No one at home was saying, hey, football needs to change this rule, and you know, I'm so sick of these hard tackles. If anything, people want harder tackles. They want bigger hits. So I think it's an example of the NFL not listening to what the fan base actually wants and just doing what they need to do to protect their golden goose, which is their quarterbacks.
Correct. Yeah, I think they're overcompensating to keep that quarterback a little bit more safe. Now, the helmet to helmet, I understand.
Totally get that because concussions can kill you. But if a guy tackles you and you hurt your shoulder, sorry man, that's not on the guy tackling you. Injuries happen. And the other thing I want to bring up that I heard this brought up on a sports podcast I was listening to, and I thought it was a good point. If all of these rules that they've implemented, and this isn't the only one. Think of all the rules they've implemented over the past few years, right?
Yep.
If all of them are necessary, how come we still have all these injuries? Think about it for a moment. All of these quarterbacks who are still getting injured, even after all of these rules are put in place, kind of makes me think that maybe you can't rule this to death. You can't just implement 27 new rules because guess what? You've already done that and it's not working. If you had implemented all these rules and now you're like, hey, you know what? No one's getting injured anymore. All the stars are in the game. There's absolutely no problems. Problem solved. I would say, okay, you know what? Maybe you're right. But everyone is still getting injured. You have solved nothing. You've just made the game worse.
Do you think that when you were younger, I don't know how much you paid attention to football back then, but do you think that there were less injuries back when you were younger than there are now?
No. I do think that people played through injuries a little bit more because, you have the famous story of Ronnie Lott for the San Francisco 49ers going in at halftime and chopping off the tip of his finger so that he could stay in the game. Nowadays, he'd be out for 3 weeks and they'd be coddling him. I think it's the same amount of injuries. You can't legislate a violent sport to death. You just can't. All you can do is ruin it. I actually am fine. The helmet-to-helmet thing makes a ton of sense because I think you're talking about the livelihood of those people and the long-term health. But like last year or whatever it was, when the guy from the Vikings hit Aaron Rodgers and kind of rolled on him and Aaron Rodgers hurt his shoulder, it wasn't a dirty hit. It was a guy just hitting a guy and driving him to the ground. And guess what? If you're going to play quarterback and you're going to get paid millions of dollars, you might have to, I don't know, duck out of the way, or you can slide. You can get down to there's other ways. If you chose to make that throw and absorb the hit and you end up getting hurt, I don't blame the guy hitting you. I blame the guy who didn't get out of the way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that you're 100% right. I think they could just do some sort of leveling to the penalties. I think that if it's within 2 steps, then it's free game. You know what? Hit him.
Hit him hard, man. Bring back some of those hard hits.
Right? And especially if it's Brady. Hit him really hard.
No, he's so old he might crumble. But anyways.
Kick him while he's down. He's 1-2.
Yeah, exactly. Kick him out. Yeah, except for he'll probably just win the next 10 games and come roaring back.
Don't you dare say that.
Yeah, that will wrap up sports. I'll tell you what, Chris, I would like to play the movie game, though.
Oh, hooray for Hollywood. It's really got me. Hooray, 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 hooray for Hollywood.
All right, this week's topic of the movie game, movies we watch with our families.
See,
and
now,
that's a pretty wide range. That's a pretty
Yeah.
wide range of topics.
It is, because you texted me last night, and I'm thinking, okay, cool. Movies I can watch with my entire family, and they'll all give a shit about it. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. Now I'm looking at your list, and I'm like, there's one on your list that I really think would be on point for my family. But then I'm thinking to myself, going, well, the Avenger movies are really good right now. Like, these are really big right now. My whole family likes watching them. But then again, I come home, and my little one's at, like, My Little Pony movie. So I'm like, there's a
what I
big
meant by it
range.
was the time where you're going to sit down, you're going to stream a movie, and the whole family is going to sit there, and you're not going to be streaming things on your phone. You're not going to be in the other room half paying attention. The whole family is sitting on the couch and going to sit and watch this movie. Family movies are a pretty big industry, and I thought we could address a couple. I think I'd like you to go first. Why don't you tell me what your first one that you picked is?
All right, the first one that I picked, I go off your list, right? Which one?
Yeah, well, I believe you picked
Never Ending Story.
The Never Ending Story.
All right, so this is a movie that I used to love when I was growing up, so I made my kids watch it with me. What did it come out in, like 1980 something?
Early 80s. I want to say 83, 84.
84. Look at you. So the Never Ending Story, the synopsis, a kid that doesn't like school but likes to read and is picked on. Wow, that's not. Anyway, so he's picked on. He goes and finds this book, The Never Ending Story. It comes to life. He gets to ride a dragon that's really creepy looking. Looks kind of like a Shih Tzu Maltese mix with a tail.
It's a weird looking dragon thing. Yeah.
The Luck Dragon. So anyway, we've all know of this movie or seen it, but it's The Never Ending Story.
Yeah, I know. I wish I would settle my lawsuit finally. I've been suing them for decades now because the story did end, and I thought that was false advertising.
Oh, you didn't know they made it number 2 and number 3 of these?
Oh, goodness. They did they?
They
did not know that.
Yeah, there you go. They didn't quite. I mean, it still ended, but it never ended for another.
Question for you: was this movie a profitable movie? I remember it being popular, because every kid our age saw it, But was it a profitable movie enough to merit 2 more sequels?
I'm pretty sure somebody probably rented it last weekend, so they might be over now into the green. Like they just got a 99-cent rental on Netflix or something right now. Can you?
Yeah, no, I remember this movie pretty well. I'll tell you though, being a children's movie and a kind of a fantasy children's movie, kind of cheesy, kind of whatever. I can't imagine this being scored well with the critics. You know what I mean? Like, I could definitely imagine audiences and kids liking it, but I can't imagine the critics liking it. So I'm going to go pretty low on this. I think The Never Ending Story, while I know my kids enjoyed it and I enjoyed it as a kid, I'm going to say critics hated it. I'm going to say they gave it a 42.
All right, I'm writing it down. 42.
All righty. My first one for you. This is one of my family's all-time favorite movies. It is something we watch probably 10 to 15 times a year. We are getting into that time right now with Halloween and then Christmas coming up. We are also big Tim Burton fans in our household.
Boogie Nights!
I'm talking about the wonderful movie, The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I'm sure that this is probably a good one in your house too.
Oh, yes. We actually I've been trying for years to buy more and more of the Nightmare Before Christmas decorations so we can put ours up around Halloween and not take them down until January because I'm just lazy.
Yeah. And well, it's perfect for the lazy dad thing because, yeah, it works for Halloween. You could always get by Thanksgiving with it. Then you do Christmas, and then you're like, hey, look at this. I only decorated once every 3 months.
100%.
What's a stop? See, my Alexa was just talking. Even Alexa thought that was a good point.
Alexa's like,
Anyways.
time for your flu shot.
Yeah, there it is. Alexa, stop! You dumb whore.
Alexa, what's the weather like today?
Alexa, stop!
Oh shit, mine's going up now. Stop, Alexa. These things
Next
are
step
stupid.
on We Should Be Better at This. Alexa Wars. Oh, now I just said her name again.
I know.
Hold on. We refer to her in our household as the Amazon device because we don't want to trigger her to wake up.
We say that which cannot be named.
Yeah, that's all right. So, what say you on The Nightmare Before Christmas? It's one of my all-time favorites, but what do you think the critics said?
It's one of our favorites also, but I believe this one got a really slow start because this was a brain trust that Tim Burton put together when he was working at Disney. Mm-hmm. So this was something he did, and from what I read about, and then since he was working for Disney at the time, Disney owned the intellectual property, which kind of sucked, but it's been giant. It was one of Disney's first darker side of stuff that they took really well care of.
Yeah, you could tell they took a chance when they did this movie. You could tell.
And then now it's all over their park. Like the Haunted Mansion is now all Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, and it's so great. Oh, I love it when they do it up like that. So great.
Amazing. It's our favorite time of year. So I know it got a slow start. I'm not sure how Rotten Tomatoes works or not. But I think that it's, I'd say you're probably like an 84. 84. Wait, hold on. Wait, out of 100, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say, yeah, I'll just say 84.
84. Okay. Let's do one more each. I got one for you. The year is 1979. You were a young lad. This is The Muppet Movie, and I'm talking about the original one, not the one that came out a few years ago where the kid was whistling or whatever the hell that one was, which I thought was pretty crappy. This one is the huge cast of characters, you know, the Dom DeLuise's, and Steve Martin has a great cameo in this one. Super fun movie. I watched this a million times as a kid with my family, and I watch it now with my kids. We watch it a few times a year. But basically, it's like Kermit the Frog is persuaded to pursue a career in Hollywood, and along the way, he picks up the Fozzie Bear, the Mixed Piggies, the Gonzos, and they really are trying to get like a leg up making it in Hollywood.
Frog legs.
Frog legs. Super fun movie. Really well liked kind of by all, and tons of celebrity cameos. I mean, like, it's one of those movies where like every 15 seconds you're like, oh, I know that person. I recognize that person.
I'll read a few off. Mel Brooks.
Yes.
Milton Berle.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Cloris Leachman.
She's still alive, amazingly.
Well, no, she was in this movie. Bob Hope, Dom DeLuise, like that back then. That's the
that was huge. Think about it. That's 1979. That's like top people.
Top billed is Jim Henson. He did the voice of almost everybody. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have to guess on what this one was.
Yes.
I don't remember ever seeing this movie, honestly, but I probably saw it. Again, my parents are potheads, so secondhand smoke got me most of my young childhood. So I'm not gonna say it did well. I'm not gonna say it did well at all. I'm gonna say 53.
53. I think you might be off on that one because it was a damn good movie. Okay, next up, what do you have for me?
Okay, so this was Ted Bundy's first movie after, not Ted Bundy, Al Bundy.
Ted Bundy, if he made a movie, that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
I'm just going to say one name, and everybody that's ever seen this movie will know exactly what I'm talking about. The Icebox.
Oh,
remember?
Little Giants.
Little Giants, yeah. Oh my God.
Rick Moranis in this movie.
Yeah, one of his last movies he did before he retired. Now hope that they're saying he's probably going to come out of retirement, but he went in retirement because his wife passed away and he wanted to raise his children, which was, I mean, noble as hell. Ed O'Neill's in it. He's brothers with Rick Moranis. He's the super football player. Like, I made this town because I used to play in the NFL and now I'm going to coach these kids. And his brother, Rick Moranis, is the gas station owner, for lack of better words, but his daughter is an amazing football player. So his daughter's the best football player, yet he's not a very good coach. And then his brother's the best coach, and his team is okay because, you know, he stacks them and trains them and all that good stuff. Coolest thing about this movie, which I thought was really neat, was it was one of the first movies where actual athletes were in the movie and they were part of the storyline. John Madden was in it. I believe Lawrence Taylor was in it. Howie Long, I think, showed up in the movie. So I thought that was really cool. When I was little going, wow, you know, athletes can come in a movie. That's really neat, you know, because they're doing this whole thing. But the kids in it, the way they acted, the one dude with the snot bubbles, like, This movie is awesome.
It was a pretty funny movie. Yeah, it was definitely. In fact, now that you mention it, because it's been quite a while since I've seen it, I think that might be a fun one to show my girls. I don't. They've never seen it, and I think now that I think about it, it was a pretty fun little movie.
Especially since it was before, girls were playing football. So it was like, whoa, like, this is neat. Like, she could play. She's good. Let's let her play. So I think it really, meant something a little bit more than most kids thought.
Do you remember, would this have been after the Mighty Ducks movies?
This came out in 94.
Yeah,
so,
I think Mighty Ducks was probably like 92 or something, or
so you had about 4 years before the Mighty Ducks.
Okay, so this is right around that time though, where they were doing a lot of like sports movies for kids. The movie Ladybugs about soccer, and like there's a lot of I remember at that time those early Angels in the Outfield. A lot of movies coming out where like kids get to play professional sports or kids
Rookie
get to
of the Year.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw that one in theaters. I was stoked.
Funky butt loving. I will always remember that. Funky butt loving.
Holy shit.
Anyways, well, my score on Little Giants, here's the thing. I don't think it was great from a critic's perspective, but I thought enough people liked it. I'm going to go ahead and say a 60, which is still a solid score. I'm going to say a 60. All right. So those are our two family movies that we watch with our families right now. Let me add up our scores. Let's go up to it first. My first pick, Never Ending Story. Chris guessed an 84. This movie is nearly perfect. It is a wonderful movie. Critics have it at a 95.
Wait, hold on. That was Never Ending Story or Nightmare?
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare. Okay, so what did they have at 95?
95. And the next one up for you that I guessed on, Never Ending Story. I guessed a 42. I thought the critics wouldn't really like it. I was way off. Apparently the critics thought this was pretty good. It scored an 82, so I'm way behind to start. I had no idea it was scored that high. That's an amazing score to me.
Well, I'm winning.
Yes, you are. Next up for me, I picked for you the Muppet Movie, and you guessed a 53. It is actually an 88. It is a really good movie. I think you should show your kids. I think they'd like it. It's pretty fun. Got a lot of adult humor in there and pretty funny stuff. So you're at a score of 46.
Okay.
And on the last one, Little Giants, I guessed 60. Little Giants is rotten, according to Rotten Tomatoes, at a 40, meaning I was up by 20 there. That puts me at 60 to your 46. You creamed the clock with me that time, and you are the winner. You are the winner.
This is the first time in like 5 weeks that I've won, so
yes, it's been a while.
I'm okay with that.
It's been a while.
Question for you, though. When you watch these movies with your kids, which I've noticed lately too, doesn't it feel like PG was a lot more loose?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
Oh yes, because right now we actually call it 80s PG in our house. We'll be putting on a movie, trying to figure out what to watch, and we'll ask for some input. We'll give them like 3 or 4 choices, and they'll ask, well, what is it rated? I said, well, it's rated PG, and then my daughter will go, wait, 80s PG? And I'm like, yeah, that's a good point, because we've shown them some movies and there's just tons of sex in it, or there's tons of whatever, and you're like, wait, this is rated PG.
I've been so late, more recently than not, showing my kids all these older shows, and I'm like, wow, they really said that back then? Like,
yeah.
Are they allowed to? I'm like, look at my wife, Evelyn, or is this okay? Like, I mean, I grew up watching this, but am I allowed to let my kids see this shit? I don't even know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah. Isn't it funny? Most things progress towards a more liberal stance over time. You soften. Think about the views of like pot in our culture from even just 15 years ago to now, right? I mean, everything is relaxed, except for when it comes to movies. I think we're actually more of an uptight, anal society now with these movies, because now a PG now is totally clean, as opposed to in the 80s, it was like Mel Gibson is shooting a guy in the head, and it's like, this is PG.
Lethal Weapon 1. Yep, 100%.
All right, well, that wraps up the movie game. You take your victory and shove it up your ass. I think I'm ready to go on to a game that we all win, which is the list.
I wonder who wrote the book of life?
Okay, so this is the list. This is the part of the show that I think I like a lot, and that's because if you don't know what the list is a list of people that you're allowed to cheat on your significant other with. And each week we add a new person, which I got to bring up the list. Hold on, I literally have to bring up the list of the list because we've had some really cool people on here. I think we've had
it's harder and harder to cut someone off our list, by the way.
On my list I have Alyssa Milano, Scarlett Johansson, Neve Campbell, Mia Kunis. On Eric's he's got like Christina Ricci, Jennifer Love Hewitt. Carrie Russell, Emily Blunt. So gives you an idea. And we dropped a few. Eric has dropped Alicia Silverstone, Kate Upton, Alex Curry, Grace Kelly. Well, she's dead, but anyway. And I've dropped Danica Patrick, Lindsey Vonn, Shania Twain, Denai Guerrero from Walking Dead. So to give you an idea about what we do. So this week, I'm going to let Eric go first.
Alrighty, I'm going to go first, and I'm going to pick a TV show that, for some reason, only cast women with gigantic boobs. Every woman in this, it's like they were having a competition of, can every actress on this show have the biggest boobs? And it's like one girl goes and gets like a D cup, and the other one's like, well, I'm going to go get an E cup. And they go back and forth, and there's a battle. And I was thinking about the other day, she is smoking hot. I don't know if I like her personality, but she's smoking hot. Her name is Sarah Hyland, and she is from the show Modern Family. She is the older daughter on Modern Family. I think she's smoking hot, and I swear every single, from Sofia Vergara to everyone, has like D or bigger breasts.
Yeah, even the younger sister.
Yes.
What is her name? Hold on, let me go back to searching her, because usually her name comes up next to Sarah's.
I'll tell you, though, what's interesting is her father, like in real life, her real life father is the guy who works on our phone systems at my work.
The guy? Really?
Yeah, guy who, the girl who plays the youngest daughter, her father is the one who does my phone systems at work.
Ariel Winter.
Yes,
Ariel Winter's
Winter.
name. Yeah. She's the one that got the reduction. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad, I know that.
I know.
Okay.
When I'm in charge, when I'm president, women aren't allowed to get reductions. There, I said it.
Okay. Well,
controversial opinion. Hashtag controversial opinion.
We don't do politics here much, but when we do, it's a hard-hitting.
Hard-hitting. Yeah. Alrighty. What about your
nice?
Pick? Oh, and for me, I'm dropping Carrie Russell.
All right, let me find that on the list. Carrie Russell, where are you? There you are. Okay, dropped.
Alrighty.
This is behind the scenes stuff that you're doing here now, because we don't prep. Okay.
Prep. We should be better at this.
We should.
All right, what is your pick?
You would think we would be. Okay, so it's kind of up in the air for me, and it's mainly because I am picky, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
God dang it. I don't know which one do I want. Hold on, let me see. What's her name? I know her name. I just want to make sure. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I had Julie Bowen on my thing to pick.
No, really?
Over the next couple of weeks. But now that you picked Sarah, I don't want to pick her, because then that's you know.
Hey, no, why not? We could double date.
Do you know? I didn't even realize she was actually in Happy Gilmore until my wife pointed it out. She was the PR lady in Happy Gilmore. Julie Bowen was.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Anyway, so I'm not gonna pick her. Who am I gonna pick? Hold on. Ooh, I got one. Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, there you go. I mean, that's an easy one. That's an easy one.
Do I need to say anything else?
No, I'll tell you where she has maybe looked her absolute hottest. It was actually in the movie Horrible Bosses. I thought she looked so unbelievably smoking hot in that movie, and it caught me by surprise almost, where I'm like, wow, she still looks amazing.
And you know what? And I agree with you. But I think that her attitude in that movie was almost every guy's dream. So that made her even more hot.
It really, really helped. Yeah, no, you're absolutely. It really, really helped. Because who are you going to drop from your list?
This week I'm going to drop Halle Berry.
Halle Berry, that's fine. She's droppable. I'm fine with her being dropped. She's a fun one to take out have a fun time with, but it's time to drop her like a 2-foot putt.
All right, Tiger.
Like a 2-foot putt, Tiger. Well, that's always a solid list from both of us. I think we could almost like blindly switch our lists, and both of us would be okay and happy with that.
I think so.
But that does about wrap it up. A couple of news from me. First of all, you could always find me at Sinatra's Rat Pack on Twitter and on Instagram. And I will say that my new book is coming out by Halloween. It is called Coffee and Cigarettes. Awesome. And it is a sequel to my Alcohol and Cigarettes. Please go buy Alcohol and Cigarettes on Amazon now and look for Coffee and Cigarettes coming out in about a month.
I might read those books one day.
There is a story in Coffee and Cigarettes where the character's name is Chris Donovan. I'm just saying.
That's not true.
It is absolutely 100% true. Chris Donovan is a police detective who is out of control with his anger, and he just beats people.
Oh, okay. So not too far from the truth.
Yeah, I based it on all real events.
It's not true, people. It's not true.
Not true.
I'm not a cop.
He's an absolute. Yeah, exactly. He just beats people without a badge. It's
That's
okay.
Right. You can find me on Twitter, Chris_Donovan, or DonovanChris.com. My website takes you directly there. Also, I do an alternative rock countdown show every weekend that airs on Dirty Radio. It's called Alt Mixed Up. You can go to altmixedup.com. Check that out. I really enjoy doing the show. I do it for free. I like literally just do it for myself. I started it like 4 or 5 years ago. I started that show just for me, and I just started throwing it out there, and people liked it. So I'm going to keep it going. Other than that, what do I got going on? Oh, no, nothing.
Nothing.
I'm on vacation for 2 days, so I don't want to think.
Alrighty. Well, I'm about to leave and go to a dentist appointment. So flu shot and dentist appointment and podcast. And let me tell you, podcast is the worst of the three. Am I right? And I'm about to go do that. So
you know how to have a good time, yeah.
Yeah, that's how one hell of a Monday for me. Well, anyways, signing off. This is Eric, and that's Chris over there. At least I assume so. And really, we should be better at this. Have a good week, everybody.
Catch you later.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Monetizing digital services since 2004. Boosting the entertainment industry by making digital content accessible for everyone. AWG. Where innovation meets monetization.